Hey there, Nate here with the Volunteer Tech Vlog on the Live Sound 101 YouTube channel. And today I will be giving a media report for October 25th, 2015. So the very first thing I gotta mention is welcome to Tim. So we have yet another volunteer stepping up, Tim, who came to join us today. And man, he has a wealth of information. He's a guitar player. And he has been performing music for a while, so he knows a lot of the lingo. He knows a lot about how to do this stuff already, but he's got this approach, like a very humble approach. And I tell you what, I can learn a lot from him. So welcome aboard, Tim. It's great to have, I don't know if you're watching this video, but if you watch this video someday, it's great to have another set of eyes kind of doing an audit of the system and how things work. And it's really helpful for me to explain why we do certain things, because it causes me to scratch my head a little bit and say, wait, why is it exactly that we do it this way? And so it's a good thing. So it's going to help us move the ball forward and, you know, keep striving to do the best we can. So welcome aboard, Tim. So he noticed a 60 cycle hum coming from the bass amp, which was the pickup of the bass guitar was depending on which direction the bass player faced, he was picking up this nasty sound that was coming through the amp, but I don't believe it was coming into the system. There might be a transformer in there before the line out, so I don't think it was coming through the system. So a couple things we're going to try. We're going to look at some DI box with a preamp in it to see if that can fix that problem. So Tim had a good suggestion there, and good on him for noticing that. And man, this hum was really, it was the point, to be honest, it was the type of thing that if I heard, you know, that was the least of my concerns, because I know where we came from, and the sounds and the noise and the buzzing that we've dealt with in the past has been so harsh and problematic that now that harsh problematic stuff is gone, my threshold for what to pay attention to is kind of like shifted a little bit. And I guess I'm thinking like, oh geez, that's, you know, small potatoes, right? But you know, on the other hand, you know, this is something that I would have normally probably overlooked and just been like, well, it's a noisy guitar, you know, what are you going to do? But I think I'm excited to see what comes of it. Maybe if we can get that noise to go away, that'd be great. So great, Tim's already contributing to the group, so this is awesome. So first time, this is the other big thing, first time using in-ear monitors, almost. So Josh and Kate, when they lead, they like to use the in-ear monitors to get the spill or the bleed over, or whatever you want to call it, that happens. So the energy on the stage ends up bouncing off the walls and trickling into the house, and it doesn't sound good. I call it muck, you know. So now the house, the main overhead speaker, has to cut through all this muck that spills over from the monitors. And that's usually the game we're playing every Sunday, is trying to figure out how to mix around this nasty spillage of audio out into the house from the monitors. So Josh and Kate said, you know what, we're not going to do monitors, we're going to do the in-ear thing. Let's do it. And everything sounded so much better. Like mixing, you could really make some little fine-tune adjustments to tweak the mix, and you could hear it. Like it was mixing on a whole nother platform. It sounded really clean from my perspective. And I had a lot more freedom to actually adjust things in the mix. Whereas if I'm just wasting all my time trying to cut through the muck, I'm not doing a lot of creativity. I'm just trying to make sure everything can be heard. So it was totally love in-ear monitors, but it's going to take some time to get all our musicians on board, and I realize that. So, but step in the right direction. I feel like it was a very successful use of in-ear monitors. The only thing I'll point out, it was my fault, is we still left the bass amp up on stage outputting signal, and hindsight, we should have just muted those bass amp speakers. We could still use the amp to be part of the signal chain and just have a feed coming out of it, and because the bass player Andrew, he had in-ear monitors, so he could hear himself through there. But I think, you know, I mean, I'm a bass player. I've played bass before. It was actually my amp that was up there being used this morning. And I get it. Like, you want to kind of feel the bass and all that. But bass was it was still a little bit out of control in the mix due to where you are in the room, resonance in the room, and dynamics of the bass player themselves and hitting different notes, and there's still some stuff that was a little bit out of control that would have been better to dial down a little bit. But I think in the grand scheme of things, today was a huge success and step forward for in-ear monitors. Although I did want to mention about the bass amp thing. So another suggestion from Tim. So this was really cool. So he said, as a newcomer, he was impressed with the mix of the band to congregation. So in the past, I guess he'd noticed that when you're singing, you can still hear people to the right and to the left of you, front and behind. You can still hear their voices. The band isn't so loud that you're just singing into a wall of sound. And he thought that was a really good target to have. And I think it might be kind of a subconscious target where I'm not really aware of it. But, you know, we've got our house level at our fixed metering location to be 85 dB SPL A-weighted, and we try to shoot for that. So I think if we can stay at 85 or lower, we'll still get that experience of being able to hear the band and hear it clearly and have them lead, but still be able to hear other voices around you, which is kind of a cool thing. So very, very good feedback from Tim on that, and felt very encouraged this morning. So those were really the big things on my list that I wanted to touch on. We do have some other things in the works, like for example, we've got to figure out a good way to send audio up to the nursery, because we ran into a bit of a problem. I mean, it was great that we used the in-ear monitors. That was a huge victory in my mind, a huge step forward. But the downside was we had hijacked in-ear monitors to send nursery wirelessly, send audio wirelessly up to the nursery. So then we were left with the dilemma of, great, we got in-ears for our musicians, but now nursery doesn't get a feed. So, you know, first service, they were out of luck. They weren't able to get audio sent up there. But for the second service, after the music stopped, I ran one of the in-ear packs up there and did a quick mix, just sending the pastor's wireless lab up to the in-ears so that our nursery workers could hear the sermon. Because I know that's important to a lot of the workers up there. But we've got a little bit of a conundrum. So we're gonna have to work on that a little bit. But overall, it was great. Wesley was also up there. Give a shout out to Wesley, who's continuing his training, which is great. And we're probably at a point where we gotta just throw him into the deep end and just let him swim, right? Because you can only observe for so long before you actually got to start plugging things in and mixing and getting a good feel for it. So he's on deck. He's up to bat. It's gonna happen soon. He's gonna just jump in and become part of the volunteer team and join the regular rotation there. Who else did we have up there? We had Lauren, who came up there. So yeah, we had a good mix of new volunteers, which is awesome. So I got to keep praying for more people to join the team. It's been something I've been concerned about and kind of praying through and trying to find good candidates to step up and join the team. But that will do it for this video. This has been the volunteer the volunteer tech vlog. My name is Nate. I will see you in the next video.